the second question is, what is the armor of God? It is a Jackie Chan movie. It's truth, no? No. The armor of God, biblically, is something that Paul, the apostle of Jesus Christ, said we must put at all times. We read about that in Ephesians 6. Can you read from 10 to 20? There are 7 pieces mentioned there. Some people say 8, but for our understanding, I'm putting 2 into 1, and so there's 7 pieces. But read from Ephesians 6, 10 to 20.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Yes. Put on the whole what? The whole armor of God. The whole armor of God. Some people say Paul got this idea from what he saw from the Roman soldier. No. You'll find that this exists in the Old Testament. But you have to put on the whole armor of God every time. Yes? So what is that? And so that you can stand against the what? Wiles of the devil. Yes? He walks about like a roaring lion. Yes? Do you understand? Yes? The wiles of the devil. Don't fall into the trap. Do you understand? Verse 12. Yes?
For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, that in it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak.
Yes. So, what are the 7 pieces of the armor of God? One is the belt of truth. You have to gird your loins with the belt of truth. Now, in Kerala, men wear mundu, and if they want to do something, they will tighten that mundu. Yes, like that. Gird up your loins with the belt of truth. What does the belt do? Make sure your pants don't fall down. Do you understand? Yes. So that is one. Yes, the breastplate of righteousness. That means what guards you? The righteousness of God, which you are, according to 5:21. The breastplate of righteousness. 2 Corinthians 5:21. Yeah? God made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. Yes? That is the breastplate. Yes? Shoes with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Do you understand? Yes? That means you must be ready to bring the gospel of peace anywhere and everywhere at all times. Shield of faith, number 4. A shield of faith against what? The fiery darts of the evil one. Yes? Shield of what? Faith. So whenever the enemy comes against you, what do you apply? Shield of faith. Yes? And then the helmet of salvation. You know, no matter what happens, you're saved. And then you have the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Not only you put on the helmet and you have the shield, but you have a sword in your hand. Most people stop at that, with the sword of the Spirit and the Word of God. But there is something more. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. Now, this I liken to a spear or a javelin. If the enemy is in Antarctica or America, you pray in the Spirit and you throw a poised shaft and it'll strike down the enemy wherever the enemy is. Do you understand? And Paul is praying, telling them to pray this so that he may have boldness to speak. So whatever the fear is, we'll come to that. Fear is a demon, is an enemy. Phobia, yes, do you understand? We are supposed to pray, and that prayer will strike the enemy down, and then he will have boldness by the Spirit. Am I clear on this? But does this explain what the armor of God is? Yes? Now, I told you earlier that these are things that Paul has found out from the Old Testament. Go to Isaiah 52:7.
How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who proclaims peace, who brings glad tidings of good things, who proclaims salvation, who says to Zion, your God reigns.
Yes. Gospel of peace. Where? On the feet. Do you understand? Yes. I used to have a friend. Her call handle was lovely feet. Christian, do you understand? Yes. So how lovely on the mountains are the feet of them who brings good news. Yes. That is the gospel. Yes. Go to Isaiah 59:17.
For he put on the righteousness as a breastplate and a helmet of salvation on his head. He put on the garments of vengeance for clothing and was clad with zeal as a cloak.
So you see the parallel now. Yes, there's more, but I'm not going to go into that. What I want you to understand that this is not modeled after a Roman soldier. Do you understand? There are spiritual clothing we need to wear at all times. And because of Christ, we can. Because he has finally put on this. Do you understand? That is why the whole book of Ephesians, I've told you this before, 10 years ago, that is a battle manual. You need to understand what is going on in Ephesians. Remember the T's of Ephesians? I forwarded that to you. Maybe I'll forward that again. Yes? Do you understand? Yes? So all the things are there in the book of Ephesians. We just have to read. It's in plain sight. But now, do you understand what the armor of God is? Yes?